welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachel
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachel and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure. Use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm kidding out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that?
Hey!
Hey!
This episode is brought to you by my admin. Well, HD Photo Hub, which is basically like having an admin.
That's right. And it's not just a delivery platform. It's a powerhouse designed to make your work shine. From stunning teaser videos and social media reels to custom property websites and polished printable flyers, HD Photo Hub automates it all so you can focus on what matters, growing your business.
That's right.
So today we've got a super interesting topic that I am going to be learning along with you all because I have never shot one of these. We are talking all things tiny houses, how to shoot them as if, to get the most out of them, as if they were a regular size house. And Rachel has done this as well as boat houses. She's like, have you never done a boat house? And I'm like, nope. And she's like, you've never done a tiny house? Well, only once I did a tiny house, but it doesn't really count. We'll get into that. So Rachel.
Yes.
Tell us a little about this scenario. You shoot a lot of tiny houses?
Well, we have houseboats that we shoot. We have a broker that we shoot for, and she has a lot of little houseboats for sale, and they're, 200 to 600 square feet. Mm-hmm. So they're tiny, and they always need drone because they want to see where it's at on the, on the dock and all that. So it's challenging to shoot because we can have 40 photos on our MLS. So you want to provide at least 25, but it's literally a living room, a bathroom, and a bedroom. That's it.
Yeah.
So what do you shoot on these tiny houses and these little boats? How do you fill the MLS with enough photos to really tell the story of what, the houseboat is all about? And I remember back, I think it was 2019 or 2020 when I shot my first houseboat. Mm. And it was actually a referral from, when I bought that client list, it was one of my friend's clients. And so I called him and I was like, hey, how do I do a houseboat? Is there anything special? What do I do? And he said, you're going to need one of those tripods that's got the little bendy legs. The tripod legs are only 6 or 8 inches long, and they bend.
The little rubbery bendy with the
bend them in any
cylinder things going down the legs. Yeah.
Yeah, the little knobs all the way down.
I forget what those are. I forget what that brand is. Something with a G or something. Yeah.
But he was like, then you can set the camera on the counter or in the corner and you can get the shot because your tripod doesn't really work that well in that space because it's so small. And I was like, oh, okay, good point. I mean, books work too. You can literally bring a brick with you, stick your camera on a brick, or anything like that.
That's such an interesting point. I never thought about that. Yeah, absolutely. Because you have no space probably in a little alley in front of a kitchen to even, your tripod's taking up so much of that acreage. There's no way to get further back, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be able to bracket shoot because you want to see the pretty views out the windows. So you can't just really shoot them all handheld. The biggest issue obviously is that it's a small space and how do you show the whole thing? So I did use my big tripod for some of the shots, quite a few actually. I did find myself shooting lower than normal because the ceiling was lower. So I wanted to be able to really feel like you were in the space. And it's really just, it kind of is what it is. And I think they understand that with the photos. You're not going to get the best composition and the best shots as you would in a normal size home because you don't have the room to move about and get where you need to be. However, you can try to get all 4 angles of the room, easily. Especially with the use of that little bendy short tripod thing. That definitely helps. It's also about storytelling and about really showing the details of the space. Because when you buy a houseboat, you're buying a houseboat for the fact that, the dining room table folds into a bed. So let's show that in a photo. Or how it's got this perfect little window when I lay in bed, I get to look out this window. So show that, and the detail shots, like showing detail shots of the kitchen. Sometimes they want to take a detail shot of the engine of the boat. And what do they call it? The hull? The hull? Sure. I don't know. We're
hull,
down
yeah.
where all the mechanical stuff is. I don't know what that's called. I should probably look that
up. The basement. Don't they call it the basement?
I haven't shot one in a while, so I'm a little rusty.
Do they need a floor plan in these spaces?
I mean, we do free floor plans on everything, so I'm assuming we do. I haven't shot one all year, honestly. It's been a couple years since I've shot a houseboat.
And do you floor plan
too
the
busy.
engine room is my next question.
Oh, right. I don't know. That's a good
Because it's
point.
all of like 3 feet probably in there,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
It's usually like a trap door in the floor that you lift up
Yeah.
and then it goes down in. So I doubt it. Probably
Yeah,
not.
probably not. Probably
Yeah.
not. But
I
that's
don't know. That floor
interesting.
plan would be interesting.
Yeah, and would Kubicasa know to like say that's an engine, or they'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, a lot of the shots that I've taken in houseboats, I do them handheld. That's like the easiest way for me to get them. And I let the agent know, I say, hey, I'm going to take as many as I can on my tripod, but there's some angles that I'm going to have to hold the camera. And
Yeah.
that just means that the views out the window aren't going to be as perfect. So I let them know that expectation before. So they're not like, why aren't these as good as the other ones?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It sounds a lot like kind of sort of a maybe a hybrid of when you would, if you've ever shot an Airbnb where you have to get the extra details so they know the amenities, but you're kind of showing them what's it going to feel like to live in this space a little bit. And that's a great way to get more angles. Definitely the view out the window and then little detail. Yeah, there must be a bunch of things. Kind of like an RV home where like, the table folds out. It's kind of very similar, I would assume, to that, right? Also,
is.
this wall pushes back and there's now a bed. And
Right, right. You really just have to get creative in how you show the space. And think about if you were going to buy this houseboat. It's kind of like when you shoot a listing. You always put yourself in the eyes of the buyer. Like, what would they want to see?
right.
What would be important to them? And then just exploring the space and asking questions to the agent,
So-
like, what are some of the selling features of this place? Like, what really, are there any unique transformations that this thing does? What does it have that the other ones don't, and then get photos of that.
Rach, can you imagine if you had to go back to a world pre-HD Photo Hub?
Oh, no way. No, HG Photo Hub literally saved my life during the COVID craze. With online ordering, their invoicing, the photo delivery, the Google integration, and just having everything on one platform, HG Photo Hub really does it all. And I cannot imagine my business without it.
Same. Pre-HD Photo Hub, I feel like I was just spending all my time chasing my own tail. It was horrible. The good news is our listeners get a special deal. If you enter the code STS, you're going to get 10 free full marketing kit deliveries. Remember, enter the code STS.
Do they focus a lot on, so imagine like these boathouses, are they usually on like a slip that has a lot of other slips, like a bunch of other boats that are docked there?
Yeah.
Is that usually how that goes?
Yep. So it's one long dock and then it's got little slips like every, 10 feet or something, 15 feet, there's like another boat. So the boats are packed in pretty tight. Yeah. And most of them don't go anywhere. They just stay on the dock.
Do you focus on the neighborhood of boats, if you will? Do you get like a shot of the number of the slip and then like a detail shot of that? And then you get like wider shot to show multiple slips? Like how does that normally go?
So I get a shot of the parking lot as well and the monument sign of what marina we're at because there's multiple marinas here in Seattle. And then, the access point, like, is it gated? A lot of the docks have a gate with a code that you have to get in. So that's a good security feature to have, right? So I'll shoot that. And then shooting just down the dock, and then maybe we'll put an arrow over the house so they can see where it's at on the dock.
Amongst all the boats.
Yeah.
Because they want to know, am I in a good location or do I have to like traffic out of here?
Right. The majority of the time we're using the drone. And that's to get all four corners of the boathouse. Obviously there's kind of like a front shot, but it's like you want to shoot all of it, but you want to get the most appealing shot. A lot of them have a big rooftop deck, which is cool to show. So you can use the drone to show the rooftop deck, which is awesome.
Do they have more than one level besides the roof? Is it usually just one level and then the deck on the roof?
Some of them are 2 stories or 3 stories even. Yeah, and they have bedrooms. Like one that we shot was probably 700 maybe 700 square feet even. It was big. And it was like a main level, a second level, and then a rooftop deck as well. So that was a big bad boy. Yeah.
What about
Do you know what's
video?
funny? I looked into living on a houseboat before I bought my house, my first house.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking into it and I'm like, man, you could buy a boat for 150 grand, like a pretty nice one, and live on it. But then I was like, wait a minute, let's think about it. They got to rent the slip which was $700 a month, whatever. But then I'm like, what about laundry? I have a large dog. Going to the bathroom every day with the dog would be really annoying. I've got young children. What if they fall in? And I have night terrors. What if I just night terror right off the boat? Run for my life.
That would probably wake you up, I would think.
You would hope.
Yeah, well, I would definitely
so
hope.
funny.
What if you just woke up on an island somewhere, like you swam across to some little island?
I know. I'm
In your
like, where
sleep.
am I?
I have no idea where I am.
I just teleported.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
You know, funny enough, at today, the shoot I was at today, as I'm running Matterport, the homeowner was there and he's like talking to me about stuff. And he's talking about how he bought that house and he didn't know how he was going to afford it. And that shortly after his brother bought a tiny house, like bought a trailer and built a tiny house like in the driveway and saved all his money for like 10 years. He's like, now he has so much money saved because he never bought a house like I did that he couldn't afford. He just bought a
Right?
tiny house. And then he's like 10 years later or whatever it was, he sold it for the same amount that it cost for him to make it. So he's like,
Wow.
I'm jealous of this guy. He's saved so much money doing that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if I look at the equity that I have in the houses that we own, you know, it's a lot of money, and yeah, you don't own it outright. You have a lot of debt on it, but at the same time, things are appreciating so fast.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the thing. He bought his house. That's the other thing he told me is he bought his house for 3 something, and now it's going to list at like 750.
Dang. So that's a huge
15 years.
investment.
It was 15 years ago though, and he had 2.6% when he bought it.
Dang. Yeah. Like our Airbnb, I think we owe 200 on it, and it could go easily for 750. So, and I bought it for 389, which is insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what about video? That's my next question. So, have you ever been asked to do videos in those spaces?
No, but I can pretend like I have because I know what I would do.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, I would start wide. I'd get all the wide shots of the exterior. I'd take like a wide drone shot and fly into the front of where the boat was parked, like 400 feet down to where the boat was. And then I would probably do a straight down shot, kind of twisting the drone to show the lot, like where it sits within the marina. I'd do a couple cinematic shots with like birds chirping or like someone on a paddleboard or canoeing or something, whatever I could get, like kind of lifestyle
Atmosphere,
shots,
yeah.
atmosphere stuff. Yeah. And then I would go in through the front door and show the spaces within. Now these would be pretty tight shots. You're not going to be able to get, again, like the best compositions and stuff. You're not going to do a bunch of speed ramps. Not a lot of room.
Yeah, right. Speed ramp from the kitchen to the bathroom is like,
maybe you could probably go from the living room to the bedroom and do a speed ramp.
Okay.
But I would do a wide one of the living room, and then I would do some detail shots on the little kitchenette, any details that were there, you know, like if there's a cute sign on the wall, I'd probably shoot that even, you know, stuff like that. And then the bathroom would obviously have to be like a pan up or a pan down to be able to show it all because they're usually so tight. So good luck. Good luck. Might need a couple shots in the bathroom, one of the sink and then one of the shower.
Like just all faucet close-ups is all you get.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, it's not going to be a long video. It's probably going to be like 45 seconds if you're lucky.
Yeah, you can have a 12-second video. And I was thinking like, what about the agent who wants to, you know, the agent's like, I'd like to walk through the kitchen, and you instantly just walk into the wall trying to back up in there filming them.
Yeah, you get 2 people in there. It feels real tight. Real quick.
That would be a funny social media reel, like making a tiny house video and you're like walking into stuff, you know, you're backing off the dock when trying to film them. Yeah.
Fall in the water. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, my dreams will come true. I had a dream I fell down the stairs and like years ago, and ever since then, I think I've talked about this on the podcast, but ever since then, I'm paranoid around stairs. Like always watching out because I'm like, I don't want to fall down the stairs in that dream.
Oh, yeah. Just because it was a dream?
Yeah, I don't know. It just stuck with me for some reason.
I had a friend who was terrified. He just had this idea in his head that it would be the horrible way to go if you just fell off the curb walking and a car like ran over your head. So that's what he thinks about when he walks down the street. I'm like, you're out of your mind, dude. How are you going to trip and fall under a car?
Right? Like the chances of that are very slim. Yeah. Poor guy. He just has anxiety now every time he walks down the sidewalk.
Yeah. Psst. Sorry to interrupt. If you haven't heard, Rach and I are using Pixl CRM.
Pixl CRM isn't just another boring tool. It's basically your business's best friend. With Pixl CRM, you can automate your lead generation, follow-ups, client communication, and stay top of mind with email campaigns. And there's just so much more.
And if you want, you can try it out today. Just go to pixlcrm.com/STS, and you're going to get the first month of Pixl CRM free.
Buddy.
Well, anything else? What else? Is there anything else that we need to make sure that people know about photographing tiny houses?
I mean, the boat is
website
moving.
have to be tiny.
The what? What'd you say?
Does the website have to be tiny?
No, it can be big.
Oh,
Only
good.
the house is tiny. No, the house is moving a lot of times because you're on the water, so it's kind of
Mm.
moving. So the exterior shots, your editor will need to align like the layers
Oh,
when they put
yeah,
them
good point.
together, which usually is not a problem. You can also ask your editors to make it look like you're out to sea, like you're not on the dock. So they can edit the views out the windows to be just water and horizon, which we've had that done before. And it looks pretty cool. We actually had a guy that said, hey, I'm going to pull out. I want you to come with us. We'll pull off the dock and then I'll move the boat. And so every picture you get, there will be just views of the water out the windows. And I was like, okay. So we did that. And then I realized like I could
You're
ask
like,
the editors
that took,
to do
yeah,
that.
that
was
took a
really-
long time, probably.
Yeah, it did cost extra for that editing, just so you know, but it was well worth it. It looked really cool. So
Mm.
they have that ability.
A
to do that.
3-hour tour. That's dating myself, but Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
So you got a free tour out of it. That's nice.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, and if you can get them to like kind of dress the place up a little bit with some lifestyle props and stuff, like maybe put some fruit on the table or, make it look like it's kind of lived in, it makes it easier to shoot it and get creative with those shots. But a lot of the detail shots, basically at the end of the day, you got as many wide shots as you can, do the best you can, just know it's not going to be perfect. And then those detail shots are really important.
Yeah,
That's
the
all I
only
gotta say
time.
about
So
that.
what I alluded to before is the only tiny house I ever shot was for a construction company, which was not finished. It was videoing actually them making things. So they had like a saw and they were sawing things and all that, but there was nothing in it. It could have been more than like 300 square feet in there. I can't even imagine what's going to be in there once it was built. I'm like, so yeah, I can see how this would be very tricky once there's furniture in there, like.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise,
Oh.
if you shot it like a normal room, you'd have 2 shots and you'd be done.
Right. Another thing that I shot, it was an emblem on the front of the boat on the ground that was like built into the ground. I don't know if it was painted or what, but anyways, there was like a logo that they had put on the bottom of the boat. So I took a picture of that straight down. And also like the little walkways down the side of the boat. Sometimes they have like little walkways with little railings with like tie-offs on the side. I took pictures of that. So you really just like take pictures of all of the details inside and out. I remember they were like, oh yeah, make sure you get a picture of the side rails and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I can do that. Yeah.
Well, cool.
So
There you
yeah.
go.
Anyways, I hope that helped. If anybody has to shoot a houseboat or a tiny home, it's fun.
So, oh, you know what I wanted to ask you too?
What?
So when you're shooting these, the lens that you're using, what are you using? Is it your 16 millimeter most of the time that you're using?
Yeah. I have the 15 to 35, 2.8.
Do you
Yeah.
ever wish in that scenario you had a 12 millimeter or something, or you feel like
I
you
mean,
do fine with it?
I used to shoot with a 12 prime and I would have to fix the distortion on the edges. Maybe it was a 14 prime, but it was distorting so bad. It's not, to me, no. I mean, yeah, it would help a little bit, but I think 15's fine. Honestly, you go wider than that, you've got some serious distortion, and then you're just fixing it in post anyway. So
And then you're cropping it back basically
Yeah.
to probably a 15 anyway at that point.
yeah, you can always try panorama in there too. Might be cool if you could stitch it together. I've never tried that, but
Mm.
that's an option.
That might be awfully deceiving as well, though.
Definitely. Like, whoa, look at this boat. It's huge.
They can't wait to see this. What is this?
Look,
Yeah.
it's 100 square feet. They're like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah,
I am
you're so welcome.
excited. Whenever it happens that I'll shoot a tiny house, I'll have to tell you how it goes. But I think these tips actually will be very helpful.
Good. I'm glad. All right, guys. Well, enjoy your day. We'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.